What is addiction from medical point of view?
Habit is something that we can control.
Yeah.
Addiction is something which controls us.
What is making this brain to get addicted to something?
Some addictions cause 500% to 1000%. So a brain is quite intelligent enough to understand ki okay, I'm getting 1000%. Why would I be okay with just 50 to 100%?
Yeah. Can we just differentiate these types of addictions, ma'am?
Weed smoking has increased, so we are seeing it in the higher school grades from schools itself. Like sleeping pills addictions,
Yeah, ma'am.
we find people who consume 5 to 10 sleeping pills because they are not able to sleep, and these
Even
days
after that, they will not fall asleep.
They'll not fall
Look
asleep.
for something else.
coming to behavior addictions. Now
That is
this has
every
become
family.
a trend.
Yeah, every family, every individual is
Someone
affected
has
because of
some. Then we have gambling disorder.
That is the
Recently, I
worst.
had a patient with this gambling disorder, almost spending 10 to 20 lakhs per month on this. Pornography and sexual addiction,
That is
quite
also
common
quite,
in teenagers.
common, and it is very accessible also nowadays.
So-
Because of addiction, we lose that ability of judging.
Judging, yeah.
Okay.
People don't even realize it's a medical disorder and it is treatable. We can treat addictions, but people don't even accept or realize that that is an obstacle to treatment.
Yeah, Hyderabad may be common. Ma'am, all these swappings and all that.
Apparently, there are groups, which
Groups.
have. There
Okay.
are Telegram groups
Okay.
where people of these who share similar interests, they find their partners.
Scary relationships, huh?
Yeah.
That's weird. The partner swappings and all these sexual swappings, it is involving the other person also. Do we lose the consciousness that the other person is getting affected? Hi guys, and welcome to my pod, and today's topic is very interesting. We are discussing digital addiction with Dr. Jyothirmai, who practices at Manaha Clinic. Thanks for joining us today, ma'am. Can you please help us understand what is addiction from medical point of view?
Yeah, sure. So, addiction is a condition where compulsively the person actually gets used to some certain things in spite of knowing that it causes harm to them. So, this
Okay.
is very essential to understand.
How it is different from habit? Can we differentiate habits and addictions?
Yes, so for layman, it becomes very difficult to understand what is a habit, what is addiction. But let us take an example. Like we wake up and every day we brush our teeth or we have a small cup of coffee. So those come under habits. And so habit is a repeated kind of an act which we
Okay.
do automatically.
Okay.
So we don't plan for that particular thing to be done. Like the day you wake up, you automatically go, you brush your teeth. You automatically you go make your coffee. Something like that. So addiction is something, on the contrary, what happens is we have to compulsively, take that particular thing. And there are different features of addictions.
Okay.
It has different characteristics. So like craving, you crave for that particular thing. Then there's loss of control. You don't
Okay.
have control on how much amount you're taking. And then there is tolerance. Tolerance means you need to have a more quantity of it
Resistant
to
kind of
produce
thing.
the same
Okay.
effect.
Okay.
And there will be withdrawal. That is, you don't take it, then you
Will have
start
some-
feeling restlessness and
Okay.
all, which we don't find in habits so much. But then a habit, maybe if you overdo it, like let us say a coffee intake, instead of just one cup of coffee, it becomes 4 cups, 10 cups, then it can become addiction.
Okay.
And there are different brain areas also which actually control habits and control addictions. So different areas are identified. Like in habits, if you see, the basal ganglia is mostly
Okay.
involved in it. On the contrary, if you see in addictions, there is the dopamine pathway, which is
Okay.
mostly responsible.
I just want to know, maybe our listeners also want to know, how the brain is getting addicted. What is making this brain to get addicted to something?
Yeah. So, see, we all have different pathways in the brain. So, there is one pathway which is called dopamine pathway or the reward pathway of the brain. So, what happens? Why is actually this neurotransmitter dopamine essential? So, let us say, generally, if you have to, like food seeking behavior or trying to socialize, like you meet someone, then you start feeling good. You have a particular food, then you kind of get energy or you like the taste, then you want to have it again. So the brain is actually getting a reward with the food or with meeting someone, and then you tend to do that particular thing again and again. So this is like a general dopamine pathway. But what happens with addictions? And addictions, we will, I think, later on talk about different types of addictions.
Yeah.
But what happens is this substance or whatever is causing the addiction, it kind of, let us say, it hijacks the brain completely, hijacks the reward pathway. So
because of that lot of dopamine
correct,
surge.
correct. So because it is hijacking the the reward pathway, then the brain is always seeking for it because it needs more reward. So
Because of the surge, the receptors already got down regulated. Now we need
Yes.
more amount of substance or
Yes.
behavior to create the same effect.
Yes. So
Okay.
there is definitely the reduced dopamine receptor sensitivity happens.
Okay.
And that is the reason why, let us say, for example, the food or the socializing, which I said, is causing 50 to 100% of a dopamine surge.
Yeah. Okay.
Some addictions cause 500% to 1000%. So a brain is quite intelligent enough to understand ki, okay, I'm getting 1000%. Why would I be okay with just 50 to 100%?
Yeah.
So then it would only crave for that.
Okay.
Getting that extra boost of the reward or dopamine.
So
which
all this is
available.
happening to get that reward.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Then it's a feel good thing.
Feel
I
good
want
thing.
it more.
Okay. Dopamine is equal to pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can we draw the line from between habit and addiction, ma'am? Like this is habit, no, this is addiction. Can we?
So a simple
Way
thing,
to
if
draw
I
the
can
line.
put it that way, so habit is something that we can control.
Yeah.
Addiction is something which controls us.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. We can control a habit. If you want to, you can make some changes. But then addiction, whatever we are addicted to, that controls us completely. So that is the
Okay.
thing. And then we also, like earlier what I have mentioned about the characteristics of addiction, they are not there in habits.
So addiction is like the habits getting controlled. I mean, we are getting controlled by the habits.
Yes.
So is there a role of willpower here to, I mean, people who are strongly motivated will not get addicted, or people who are morally bound to something, they'll not get addicted to.
Yeah. So there have been different research studies which done, so which also have put different roles of how people and what are the things which can affect addictions. One is genetic.
Yeah, so genetically also it
genetically, some people who have some kind of, like, especially the dopamine receptor sensitivity is there. No, it also varies individual to individual.
Okay.
So that also kind of says who is going to get addicted to which substance they are going to get addicted,
Okay.
etc. So especially we have in alcohol addictions, if you see that almost 40 to 60% they found that it is genetic vulnerability that a
Okay.
person gets into alcohol, and also a person with either of a parent who has alcohol history has almost 4 times extra risk to
Okay.
get into alcohol.
Okay.
And even people who have adopted children from parents with alcohol, even though environment doesn't have alcohol, but they found because of this genetic predisposition, they also get into alcohol thing.
Okay.
So there is definitely a genetic role in it.
Okay. Now our listeners will be blaming the genes, I think. But how much ever the genetics play in the background, we still, I mean, there has to be environmental thing also.
Correct,
It's not like
correct.
completely blaming genes and we do things whatever, I mean, cause harm to us and
Yes.
blame the genes. It doesn't work like that.
So that is rightly put, because if we have to, let us say, compare, let us say we have a gun in our hand,
Yeah.
and it is loaded with genes.
Yeah.
But the trigger is
In our
environment.
environment. Yeah.
Trigger is environment.
Yeah.
So based on the stresses that you are facing, based on the, let us say, if we have to segregate this environmental conditions from childhood. So any adverse childhood experiences,
Okay.
any trauma that the
Trauma.
child experiences,
Okay.
any abuse, any bullying, which in schools it quite commonly it happens.
Yeah.
So all of this, any parental separations, conflicts,
Anxieties,
seeing
depressions. Okay.
seeing a parent drink a lot. So all of these are environmental triggers in childhood. Then as a child goes into schooling, what happens is, again, these days adolescents, they want to be accepted. The fear of missing out, you must have heard about it, no?
FOMO, ma'am.
So that FOMO, you want to be accepted in the group, and let us say
Always
these
craving for validity, getting
these people are
accepted.
getting into some like weed smoking or anything, and
Ecstasy and all that.
yeah, so what happens is they will kind of bully you if you're not taking like you're still small, you have not grown up.
Okay.
Just behave like a grown up man. And then this person also wants to start substance. So that's how it all begins, the social situations which trigger this one.
So it's genetic, environmental, and social.
Social, yeah.
As we have already discussed enough about addictions and habits, can we just differentiate these types of addictions, ma'am? Like classify the kinds of addictions.
Yeah. So broadly, if we can classify, you can classify them as substance addictions and behavior addictions.
Okay.
So in substance, what do you mean by substance? There is some chemical reaction happening in the body with whatever we are consuming.
Yeah.
But behavior addictions are, on the contrary, there is no chemical reaction, or there's no external chemicals that we are taking.
Okay.
But indirectly, the brain's reward pathway, it gets hijacked, it goes haywire. So what are the different kinds of substances that we are seeing these days? So earlier, like everyone must be knowing about alcohol, which is quite common.
And opioids also, they used to take it from medicine.
Yes. So opioids are also quite very common. If you see in India, I think northern India has a lot of opioid addictions. But these days we see in our city a lot of cannabis. So weed smoking has increased. So we are seeing it in the higher school grades. From schools itself. So, and they kind of try to normalize it, saying this is quite okay. You feel little high, after taking it. They feel good. It is like a pleasure. They do it together, friends together. So they don't know what are the side effects, and sometimes parents don't even realize that their child is into weed smoking.
Is there any pattern, ma'am, with which parents can recognize, okay, this is not normal, he or she is into something?
Some substance, if he or she, see, one thing is a change in their behavior patterns. So earlier the child was very calm, but now then he is a little very oppositional, very aggressive, especially aggressive, agitated behaviors. We can see they can happen with substances, because substances have that role in behavior changes.
But most of the time, the child is away from the parents only. Hardly they'll come back for, the evening times.
That also becomes important here, because you will have to spend quality time. So we are not asking, sometimes practically it's not possible to completely devote all your time. But then quality time of spending with the child, trying to understand their peer group, who are their friends, what are they doing, what are the challenges they are facing. And general playing some indoor games. And in that process, what happens is a communication channel is opened, and the child openly talks to the parent about everything. That channel has to be created. Otherwise, what happens, you're just giving instructions always.
Preachy things.
Do this, do that, how many marks you got, did you have your lunch? So these are all yes or no answers. So you have to open communication, wherein it is like an open talk. You're encouraging open talk to them, open-ended questions. Rather than closed-ended questions to your child.
So that was about substances.
Substances. And then we have volatile solvents. Recently in a school, I have found that there are some students who like smelling this paint, and all
petrols,
of this.
petrochemicals.
So that is also one kind of risky kind of a thing, because sometimes they do it in covers and they inhale those things. And then we have stimulant addictions these days, methamphetamine and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of that, stimulant addictions. And these days, if you know, people attention deficit hyperactive disorders have become
Very
quite
common.
common.
Very
So
common.
that is why the drug of choice of it, which is a stimulant, is very carefully given after
Okay.
proper scrutiny and proper diagnosis, because there is every chance of abuse, you know, by the person. And also then we have benzodiazepine, like sleeping pills
Yeah,
addictions.
ma'am.
We
Yeah.
find people who consume 5 to 10 sleeping pills because they are not able to sleep, and these
Even after
days
that, they will not fall asleep and
they'll
they
not fall
will look for
asleep.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in alcohol also, it becomes like a gateway into all of this. You know, people who take alcohol, they also smoke. Nicotine smoking
Okay.
happens. So it's like a chain reaction. Then they get into all of this. So these are different substances, you know, that are
Substances.
available.
Okay.
Cocaine is also some another substance which is commonly abused. But in general population, mostly we find alcohol and nicotine. That's how
Alcohol,
it is.
nicotine.
And then coming to behavior addictions. So now
That is
this has
every
become a
family.
trend.
Yeah, every family,
Huh.
every individual is
Someone
affected
has
because of the.
something. So if we can, kind of classify some of the behavior addictions which are quite common. So one thing is the social media.
Yeah,
Social
very
media
common.
addictions, that is Instagram
Continuously,
especially.
you will be keep scrolling. You
Yes.
never know like how much time is this passing
The
out, and
young
you are just.
teenager, because the scroll happens and it is a very immediate gratification happens with a small reel of few seconds. The dopamine surge happens, you wanted reward again and again, you keep on scrolling. So social media addiction is one thing.
Even adults are also
Adults
involved
also
into.
do it, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of comparisons. Body
Yeah.
image issues happen with
Because
Instagram
of all these
and this
things, yeah.
TikTok and all of this. What
Most of the
happens?
times it is fake only. Somebody is driving I mean very expensive car and living in a posh bungalow, and you start comparing
You
yourself
start
with them,
comparing.
and you get
You
depressed
get
and you don't know
depressed.
what's happening.
Yeah. And then I
Ultimately.
know recently there was a patient who had this eating disorder because
Okay.
of social media, seeing, you know, all the people, all their
Trying all the
friends,
new
trying all the new
places.
foods and trying to be very thin and skinny. So
Okay.
they stopped eating. This person completely stopped eating because wanted to fit in that role of that ideal
Okay.
model, you know, that
Okay.
ideal kind of a role.
Okay.
So I think these all they kind of imitate, the new generation imitates all of this, and social media is a very big plays a very big role in that. Then you have gaming disorder,
Yeah.
what we call, so internet gaming. So
Internet
people, you know,
gamings.
children are always addicted to it, but because the games are created in a way
So where you get
where
addicted to it and
where
you
there
get a
are
lot of
some levels
dopamine.
are passed, then
Yeah.
you get some rewards after these levels. So the games are very intelligently put, so they mostly focus on the reward pathway, how the brain is getting the reward, where to keep a gap, a pause, and so that the person craves for more and more levels, more and more gaming. So gaming disorder is identified by WHO.
But actually, gaming, if it is done in moderation, it's very. I mean, it's very healthy also for your brain, right?
See, moderation,
But you don't know what is
gaming,
moderation.
so that is the speed breakers are not put, you know, properly. So that is how, because young children as young as 6 years, 7 years, you know, start doing it.
Okay.
Becomes difficult for the parent also to understand the psychology behind the game and do all of that. So one needs to be very, I think, particular of being with the child and giving them very restricted hours of time, what they are doing and all. And especially this gaming through internet. So when 3-4 players are playing a game together, like multiplayer games and all, so that also creates a lot of
Disturbance in behavior and all
disturbance in
that.
behavior.
Okay.
Then we have gambling disorder. So
That is the
recently I
worst.
had a patient with this gambling disorder. So almost spending 10 to 20 lakhs per month on this,
Okay.
and then taking loans from other people,
Okay.
putting it again, and then
They're done with
it's
their
a
own
chain
money. Now
reaction.
they'll go and borrow
It's a
from
chain
others.
reaction. So it's again a medical disorder, you know, gambling. So wherein they have particular treatments that we do. And then we have in general also this phone addictions these days.
Every
If not
time
for
you.
social media or anything, but we just keep scrolling through all the apps.
Even if one notification pops out, you'll just go and check. Oh,
Correct.
oh,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
has-
That's right. So it's a non-productive scrolling. There's nothing coming out of it. You just keep scrolling, keep opening all the apps, keep seeing what is there. And because of this, also these days we have seen these eating addictions the food addictions also have become very common because there are apps for foods which deliver your cravings to your doorstep, right?
Yeah.
So you just click the food app and then you want like sweet cravings. So no need to cook. You just get it and there is binge eating happening. So these are food addictions is another thing which happens. And then shopping addiction. Shopping addiction also
Compulsive
online, yeah,
shopaholics.
compulsive shopping because you feel good. You're stressed out. So there are people who do this stress shopping. So just go online very easy. So they have so many options. Then they buy, something compulsively. And then you must have also heard about the binge shows, right, on
Yeah.
Netflix or the other
Binge
shows.
eating,
So the binge
Netflix and
binge
chill.
watching. So
Yeah.
there are people who for 3 days, 4 days continuously, without having food also. I have known people who are just watching to complete the series.
Seriously?
Yeah, so the
That's
whole night they wake to
okay.
just finish the series. Then what happens is the sleep gets affected, the work gets affected. So the binge watching has also become, and it is
Okay.
a
It's kind of
negative
trend.
coping strategy for people who are stressed and depressed.
Okay.
So these are some of the behavioral addictions that we see, and not to mention pornography and sexual addiction. So that is also
That is
quite
also
common in
quite
teenagers.
common, and it is very accessible also nowadays.
Very accessible. And then I think these days, what I am actually observing is in sexual addictions, other than the general thing, but there are new trends are coming up. Like
Like to
I was
mention
kind of very worried about this, the couple exchange, sexual
Swapping.
addiction,
Okay.
couple swapping, which is quite common. And I have had 2 patients of it who were quite stressed out because they had to appease the couple and they were not able to come out of this. So it became an addiction
That's
for the
terrible.
partner.
Okay.
So these are the new trends which were not there earlier.
Okay.
So
What drives all these behaviors, ma'am? Just like we know what are the consequences, still people doing it. Like
So I think, see, one thing is there's a biological basis in the brain.
okay.
So if we have to mention the areas of the brain which are responsible, ventral tegmental area is one area which produces dopamine.
Yeah.
Like let us say your favorite chocolate, you see the chocolate only. In the VTA, the dopamine is produced. Then the nucleus accumbens is another area where the motivation and pleasure starts happening. So it takes up the dopamine and then the pleasure and motivation starts. So with the motivation and pleasure, you want to take it. So then the prefrontal cortex also gets activated. So prefrontal cortex is known for decision making and impulse control. So in this behavior, the impulse control will come down. Okay. You won't be able to control your impulses, your decision making gets faltered, and then you tend to take it again and again. So what happens, all of these things like the chocolate memory is stored in your hippocampus and amygdala again.
Okay.
So these are the learning and memory areas of the brain. So the hippocampus, what it does, it will know, okay, this chocolate gave me pleasure. So next time when you see the chocolate, the brain or the body, the person will want it again.
But the chocolate and this sexual swapping is, I mean, completely polar.
They might be completely different, but these are the cues. For different people, there are different cues again. See, chocolate might be a cue for one person, but for another person, chocolate might not be a cue, which will trigger that zone. There is something else.
So
people have different preferences.
Behaviors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we can maybe categorize it, people. Some people are fascinated by some people. They like some people. They want to do, something with that people. And you also remember some good memories, with your parents or what you had with your girlfriend or, boyfriend.
Siblings
so that memory actually stays in your mind and you want to do those things
and
again.
to recreate that again.
Okay. Like let us say with your father, you had heard a very beautiful song. You have a very good memory with your father and the song. So even if someone is not there, then that song, if it is played anywhere, you get this pleasure. You kind of like it. As if you feel as if you're
want
with
to
them.
Experience it again and
Experience. So that is the learning and memory areas of the brain.
Okay.
Because the amygdala is the emotional center and the hippocampus keeps everything there stored. So all these memories are stored. So people are some cues. Then places are also some cues. Like you go to a particular place, then you get this feeling that, Like I have been here. And then for some people, visiting shops nearby, like bars and alcohol shops, these are triggers to take alcohol. So like that, places are also cues. So and then emotions, like you are very happy, so some people want to celebrate it in some ways. You're very sad, then also you want to do certain things. And then time of the day also, time of the day in the sense, let us say,
Someone is like very happy evening because they're free of all the works and all
yes,
that.
so you want to watch something, in the
Yeah.
evening times. Or let us say, yeah, weekends, Saturday, Sunday, you want to do certain things.
Yeah.
So all these things we need to keep in mind, the places or the people or the emotions or the time. So what are the cues which are causing this person to get into these things? So because cue related only, we can do some changes in their behavior patterns and all, so that we can prevent relapses.
Okay.
Relapses is after the treatment is happened, then we need to make them understand that these are your triggers.
I want to understand this, like chocolates and all these things are like, it is acceptable up to some level because it is only affecting you.
Yeah.
Like coming to this partner swappings and all these sexual swappings, it is involving the other person also. Do we lose the consciousness that the other person is getting affected?
See, obviously,
How is this? What is the
yes.
role of this other person here? Is he or she is not? Minding it like. Or,
So these are all very again complex pathways. But what happens is in addictions, the person's judgment is impaired. Judgment is trying to see what is right, what is wrong is impaired. So then obviously you are not in a position to make a very right decision.
So because of addiction, we lose that ability of judging.
Judging, yeah.
Okay.
We lose that. And because the addiction, the very definition says that in spite of knowing the harm, you get into it. So that itself, the judgment is impaired. You know, okay, this is harmful substance, because though everywhere in cigarettes and all it is written, it is smoking is injurious to health.
Yeah, and they put very
But
cancerous
still, why a
patients
person
also.
smokes? That is because information is given. But addiction is a complex mechanism.
But still, it is like individual thing. I'm smoking for my body and I'm spoiling it. But here, two people are involved. Like, how does it all start?
Yeah, that is because, see, one of the partner might like it, but the other partner want to appease this partner to stay in the relationship.
Okay.
So that is again, the other partner can get depressed, get affected. That is how psychological problems
Scary
come in.
relationships, huh?
Yeah.
That's weird. And one more thing, like, we are talking about all these things now. Why are we so free nowadays? Like previously, when you see our mom, dad's generations, they have they question themselves. No, this is not good. If somebody sees, it's not good. At least they talk like people are watching us, or God is watching us. Now there is no fear at all. I mean, is it also some kind of mechanisms happening in brain, or it is just like our upbringings, our moral values and all that?
Yeah, see, a lot of cultural drift is happening definitely.
Yeah.
So the earlier culture, where people had more moral values and, ethics and all. So little bit the line is getting, blurred because of
Again,
the other influences of the culture, because there are Western influences again. So there is talk about independent, being independent, men and women being, equal, who is more superior, all of
being
this.
equal is okay, and being independent is also okay, but this is like worst. You're getting into
that
nonsense.
starts with everything, no? Because when you start debating ki I am superior or you are superior, especially when you see a marital couple, if it is there, no one wants to adjust because everyone feels that I am superior. Why should I, listen to you?
So we have all this superiority
Yeah,
complexes.
so basically in a relationship, adapting and adjusting should be the basic thing, which people these days do not want to adjust.
But here also these
for
people
other
adjusted,
person.
right? For the other person, the other, in this sexual swapping.
But that is a non-healthy, way of adjusting.
Okay.
So that is something which is not normal, but they are trying to adjust to the demands which are not favorable to this other person. But then when we talk about a relationship and a partner, so adjusting for the whole betterment of the family as such.
Choosing the right partner is necessary so that you don't land up in such situations. Okay. And then what other kinds of addictions we have, ma'am? Like any other thing? gaming addiction.
The internet use disorder is already, one of the disorders that we mention. So I think we have covered most of the behavioral addictions which are there these days.
Okay. So now, compared to substance abuse or addiction, behavioral addictions are different, right? We don't have any receptors here, but still we are hijacking that reward pathway and...
no, we do have the receptors. The dopamine receptors anyways get activated here also. But the chemical is not producing it. The behavior is only producing it.
Okay, it's just for that gratification we are doing all these things.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Hyderabad may be common. All these swappings and all that. I thought only Westerners will do that.
No, because even like few years back, I wasn't also not aware. But then I think I had a couple of people from Bangalore
come
and also
for
in
help.
Hyderabad. Apparently there are groups. Which there are Telegram groups where people of these who share similar interests, they find their partners.
We will discuss little about preventive strategies or treatment parts or stigma around all these things.
Effects of addiction
on mental health. Okay. Like how does what is it doing to our brain? Okay, we are getting into all these things. Will it affect us in some or the other way? We are just getting pleasure out of it.
Yeah, so definitely there are a lot of physical and psychological effects of these addictions. Physical effects mostly we see in substance use. Like if for alcohol, let us say there can be liver damage.
Yeah, all middle
and in withdrawal symptoms, a person can go into delirium, get a fit episode also.
Okay.
And can cause death also.
Yeah.
So these are some dangers with opioids and with injectables and all, more at risk to get STDs and all of these disorders. So I think we need to be a little bit careful on that. And cannabis, for the weed, we see mostly the psychological dependence, not physical. But then we see something called amotivation syndrome in cannabis, weed smokers. So they lose all kinds of interest, no interest, apathy, nothing, no interest in studies and everything. So these are some kinds of changes we see. And behavioral addictions also, mostly the psychological changes we see, like mood disorders. So mostly getting into depressive illnesses, anxiety disorders. Let us say that it is taken away from you. Then you become very anxious, restless. You kind of search your phone, where it is, if it is not visible to you. Then, so all of these mood disorders can happen, anxiety disorders and sleep issues, sleep disturbances is quite common, insomnia. So indirectly, again, a person is not able to sleep can cause a lot of other problems. So, and then aggressive behaviors, getting very aggressive, agitated. In children, we can see if their gaming is, stopped in between, they become very aggressive, very
even
irritable.
While feeding them, you have to put something in front of them so that they watch and eat.
All of these consequences we can see based on these issues. And then also, I think earlier we didn't mention about in the gambling, the trading business. No, these days online trading people are doing, and that has become an addiction. There are classes, they're joining classes for this trading, spending lots of money into trading. A lot of losses is happening. So that is in turn causes financial problems also. See, rather than the psychological, physical, again there are financial problems also with addictions.
Then they will not be knowing that this is addiction. They will see it as like kind of investment or something like that. They're learning or trying to make money out of it.
Sometimes they are so subtle, a person realizes they're addicted after a while, and because people don't even realize it's a medical disorder and it is treatable. We can treat addictions, but people don't even accept or realize that. That is an obstacle to treatment.
Okay. How should someone seek help out of, to get out of addiction?
Yeah.
What is the right way of doing it?
This is very important. One thing maybe we can subjective, objective. So subjective, if a person is getting realization that they are addicted, then
they get that realization.
Some people might, some people definitely, because work is getting affected, then they might realize. So acceptance is the first thing. Accepting that you have a problem. So this is where many people actually don't even cross this first step. Then treatment is not possible. So it's okay. Like there are some things that you got into. Write it down. Ki what are the problems which are happening because of this? Accept ki you are not able to come out of it. See, acceptance doesn't mean you're weak. It's a problem. Some people can have diabetes. They're not able to come out of it. So we give them some treatments. So, okay, accept it is a problem that you got into. So no need to feel that you're weak or people will see you in a different way. I think that is the first step into
So it's
getting
not like
into.
some moral failure or something you
No,
can
not at
go
all.
and
That is
ask.
what
Yeah.
many people even hesitate to say if
Yeah.
they're consuming. They might even not divulge the complete facts, but then they need help. Early professional help seeking helps a lot. So people come very late, it becomes even difficult for the treatment, but early help. And this is where the objectively, if you identify, how you can identify, you can see your friend, getting into this. So you can actually psychoeducate your friend on this and try to see that, try to help the friend out.
Okay.
Or the parents can observe the child and try to get them out of it.
Maybe
So
sometimes children can also help their parents.
children can also help
Yeah.
the parents, right way. So both subjective and objective, the treatment, first of all, identification should start, acceptance should start, and then we can start the treatment process rolling in.
Okay, but I have few friends. They always say like there is nothing like all you need therapy or you need this psychological support or psychiatric treatment. So it's all your behavior or your social conditions, which is putting. Which is developing all these behaviors in you. So first you deal with your social issues, then ultimately there will be no psychiatric or mental illness. How are it? I mean, do you? What is your opinion on it?
Yeah, see, identifying social cues, definitely there are social stresses that you're getting into.
Yeah.
But is the person capable enough to come out of it?
Yeah.
Like, let us say for some substances, sudden withdrawal, like
Yeah.
removing completely, can cause lot of damage to the body.
Yeah.
So they need medical help, treatment. Like alcohol withdrawal and all needs medications. So we have replacement therapy. And for nicotine also, for smoking also, suddenly like 20 cigarettes they are taking. Next day we cannot ask, oh, you can cut down by yourself. Please cut down. So what happens in that cut down? The body goes very restless. The person becomes very irritable. Though the person wants to cut down, the person is not able to because the brain is seeking more. So what we have to do is nicotine replacement therapy, or there are different de-addiction, drugs for nicotine, for alcohol.
Yeah.
So
Lot
the
of
medical help is definitely required for people who are in that
even though if
moderate
they
to
have
severe
that
range
social
of
issues, still
withdrawal.
they need to go and
it
take
is
help.
required.
Yeah, but the therapy is very expensive now, ma'am. Like whenever somebody wants to.
So people, I think these days have heard from 2 or 3 people also this particular thing. But what I feel that in India, therapy is very affordable.
Okay.
So abroad, if you see abroad, I've had some of my patients who went abroad and they say that getting a therapist appointment takes 4 months to 6 months.
Yeah, for anything it is the same.
It is the same.
Yeah.
And then a therapy session there causes $200 on an average, $150 to $200. Amounting to, let us say here in India, we have on an average from 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000, let us say. There are therapists who do in this level. So when compared to abroad, I think it is quite reasonable enough. And a person who is ready to spend on different games or this shopping addictions and spending so much money,
Just go for
I think
therapy.
weekly once a therapy session of this amount shouldn't be very heavy on their pockets.
Okay. Can we just, do we have any rough number of sessions? Okay, these many sessions are required for...
6 to 12 sessions,
6 to 12
based on the
sessions.
individual's problems, because we see the biopsychosocial, so the biological, how much is the severity, psychological, how is the personality, and the social support systems, how they are. So based on that, it can vary, but definitely a minimum of 6 to 12 sessions they would be
Maybe
required.
someone who is having good social support or good family structures, they will come out easily.
Yes, because we also do family therapies at times, because for the screen detox, the digital detox thing, we need for children the family, the parental support as well.
Do we have any free websites, ma'am? Like who can just somebody if some viewer or some person don't want to go and talk, sit in front of somebody and discuss all the problems, can they just ring somebody and tell all their problems and get?
There are helplines, definitely. If you Google, there are helplines where you just support systems,
Yeah.
and then there are suicide helplines also. If you
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
suicidal,
suicide
they are
helplines are
free.
there. Okay.
They are free. But then regular counseling sessions and therapy sessions, if
They're
someone
not.
is looking for a serious sessions, I think there are websites where 1 or 2 sessions they also give for free. So
Okay.
even at our Manaha clinic also, initially if a person is confused, we kind
Okay.
of discuss with them. So that will be like a free session, and eventually they might
They can
come
decide
into,
whether
yeah,
it is going to help them or
correct. They
not, and
might
whether
come
it's
into
okay.
sessions. Mm.
This was therapy part. And what about the medical treatment part, ma'am?
Yeah, medical treatment part, like earlier I have mentioned, one is the detoxification phase. Like
Okay.
initially, when you take the substance, then the initial few weeks, you might, the body wants to completely detoxify.
Okay.
So for alcohol, there are different drugs, like adding benzodiazepines. And then for nicotine, there are different drugs. Nicotine replacement, you have patches, you have
Yeah.
gums, you have lozenges. Then for opioids, there are different treatments like buprenorphine and all of that. So, and then there are also treatments like naltrexone, which reduces the craving of all of these drugs. So, several medications are there. And also, these days, this FDA approved treatment for smoking cessation, RTMS, neuromodulation treatment is there. Neuromodulation. So, they target a particular area of the brain. Few sessions are done. So, you reduce the craving of smoking. So, a lot of research is being done. Medical interventions.
I think this neuromodulation is best, ma'am, because I mean, I know few people who have taken all these lozenges and all that. They develop some kind of uncomfortableness
it needs,
or uneasiness.
so some might not tolerate it well, and it needs a lot of supervision also, a lot of motivation, compliance with treatment and all of that. So definitely people can utilize the good new treatments like neuromodulation which are available, you know. And then we have like family therapies also. Sometimes we need to identify the triggers. The person has a breakup and the person is completely down and taking all of this alcohol. So we need to also treat the depression aspect, not just the addiction aspect. So we have medications for depression, anxiety. Then we need to call the family to support them on these things. So all of that we'll have to do.
The same thing will work for the behavioral addictions also.
Yeah, behavioral addictions, we call it as behavior therapy. So behavior therapy is mostly the non-medical kind of a treatment. But behavioral addictions, mostly we see comorbid illnesses are there, like anxiety disorders, depressive illnesses are usually there in them. So we kind of, sometimes if medical intervention is required, we kind of treat them with these SSRI tablets also.
But I think this we should know how to use technology so that we don't get controlled by it, right?
Yeah, so
Because
technology, see, that's what we have to use our phone, not like our companion, but like a tool. It is
Maybe
a
it's like
tool.
yeah.
So we have to use that tool. Phone should not use it us, and phone
Nowadays
should
I've
not
seen
kind of.
ChatGPT. They treat ChatGPT as their friend and they say hi.
So this,
and
see,
all
we
these
can't
things.
completely remove AI from our lives. You know, in
Yeah.
future AI is going to be everywhere, but we need to kind of try to see where we can keep like halls, and where I think some regulations also have to be kept so that there is properly well regulated.
Okay. Um, like how to prevent all these things so that we don't come this far, and can we prevent it?
Yeah. So prevention, see, basically if we see the primary, secondary, tertiary preventions, that category. Once a problem is done, we call it secondary prevention. But how to do that primary prevention?
Yeah.
So it's so difficult because it's become, these days it's a fast-paced life.
Yeah.
So what we can do is slow down. On whatever you're doing, slow down. If you feel kind of stressed and all, try to see that you kind of digital detox, what we call. So 1 day a week or 1 hour a day, you completely are digital free, and try to focus on offline relationship building. So the
But that
primary
slowdown is
prevention,
not easy. I
so
mean,
slowing down at least not every day, but then you can keep a lot a day, and then you can focus more on relationships. See, through building up good social relationships, what happens is there is a feel good thing. Again, the reward pathway is getting activated.
yeah.
So here,
But in a
people have
healthier way.
lost, in a
Yeah.
healthy way, people have lost connecting with people physically. No, it's all
Yeah.
digitally only, or calling or you're messaging.
Yeah.
So I think we need to physically also connect with people around, and then we have to focus on a good sleep. The primary prevention, don't compromise on the sleep, eat healthy food, proper
Yeah.
timings you actually have to maintain, do some physical activity,
Okay.
nature walks, do some exercise.
But
If
all
not,
these things have become luxury. Or where will you walk now? I mean,
see,
everywhere is
that's the
congested.
thing. But then wherever it is possible,
Yeah.
in the parks, or just go on a stroll with your partner. So I think all of this have to, our lifestyle changes have to happen. So that
Okay.
is like a better, primary prevention for all of this.
So we have to modify us completely and go back to our roots and do simple things instead of
Yeah.
running behind all these things. Okay. How do you keep yourself calm and composed and in spite of being so busy, running is such a busy clinic, what keeps you composed?
So one thing is, I'll accept I am not completely calm and composed. So
Okay.
people have their own ups and downs. So we are all
Okay.
human beings. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
the first thing we need to understand and accept is it's okay. Like, I can also do mistakes.
Yeah.
I can also falter. I can also cry sometimes. I can
Yeah.
also become sad and angry.
Yeah.
So trying not to get into that super role of completely that idealistic.
Yeah,
So that
behaving like
creates,
saint is also
yeah,
not
that
needed.
creates
Yeah.
lot of expectations from people, from self expectations also. So trying to understand that, okay, I am a human, I can make mistake. Trying to understand that you're also a
Yeah.
person who can actually falter, make mistakes.
We
So
can
trying
also
to
seek
forgive
pleasures. Yeah.
forgive people around, when and where possible. Trying to, like, when I said slow down, it is like, if you're getting too jittery, you can just have do some breathing relaxation exercise for 5 minutes. Do mindfulness, like keep aside your phone aside and try to look around, kind of stimulate your sensory organs, try to see what are there around, try to hear what is happening around.
Okay.
Get back to the present rather
Okay.
than being stuck in the past and the future, because that is causing a lot of
Live today.
sadness and anxiety.
Yeah.
So trying to see, take every day as it comes.
Okay.
We might have big plans for tomorrow, but then take
Always
small,
picturing the future is
take
not
small
needed.
steps,
Yeah.
because everything is unpredictable, no?
Yeah.
So trying to understand ki unpredictability and change is part of our life.
Yeah.
Trying to accept that change, trying to adapt to it, because if you have seen earlier, evolution theory was survival of the fittest, but it has
Because of
changed
that
after
only we
COVID.
came till here.
Yeah, but after COVID times, there are again, earlier, after that survival of the fittest, other theories came up. Survival of the one who can
calmest, I
adapt
think.
well.
Okay.
Adaptability. So COVID time, we have seen only people who adapted to the changing environment and changing
survive,
thing
yeah.
actually survived. It's not the fit people also. So I think the person who can adapt well is one. You need to be flexible, open to agreeing that you have made a mistake. Okay to allow others to make mistakes. So that idealistic kind of a world where, okay, everyone is pure, and that is not.
That's
So
not
trying
needed.
to accept gray shades is very important.
Okay. We all have that. And like all my friends are into, like, they are compulsive shoppers, like including me, and all women are blamed. You always shop, you always shop.
Yeah.
Like, why do women do that? Is it, I mean, why shopping is more commonly seen in females?
See, mostly see in all the
And casual
cultures.
sexism in men, I think.
Yeah. So in all the cultures, we see that women are someone who is more very conscious about how they look, how they get ready,
Yeah.
everything. So that way, even the marketing and the ads also show up ki, these kind of dresses or this kind of jewelry has to be worn. This is the makeup. So many options are available in the market. Options have become plenty. then you want to fit in, then you want to you feel a sense of achievement or a sense of entitlement to
That
getting
you'll
that
afford.
particular dress from that particular showroom or getting this jewelry, then you start feeling entitled also wearing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But then what happens sometimes, if you can't afford it and you kind of spend huge amounts on it, then the guilt trip again comes back.
Yeah.
Oh, why have I bought this? They are useless. If you kind of see your wardrobe, there can be many so many
unworn
useless,
clothes. Yeah.
stuffs that you don't wear anymore.
Yeah.
So that minimalistic kind of a thing, which I think some cultures like Japan and all follow quite well. So they have they don't hoard so many things. So they have minimalistic kind of atmospheres that they live in. They have less wastage
Yeah,
and
they consume
everything.
less in everything.
Everything. So I think we need to kind of learn from some cultures as well.
But even though a woman wants to learn, I think I mean, the society pressurizes them so much. Like other day, my friend was saying, why you South Indian girls don't put up good makeup or look good compared to North Indians? Come to North and see how
So
shiny
this
and they
is like
maintain
the
themselves.
stereotyping,
Yeah, yeah.
people. So when you start stereotype and when you come into it, so we need to just listen and we need to just let it go. You
Yeah,
shouldn't take
just
it.
leave it.
It
Just
shouldn't again completely kind of hijack your brain into thinking, ki, oh, what she said, that I am not,
looking good
looking
and
good and all
looking
of that.
put
No, doesn't
together and all
matter.
that. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. So people have every community, every culture, they have their strengths, their weaknesses.
Do you have any addiction of something, ma'am? Like, how do you deal with it?
Addictions, yeah. So earlier, when I was talking about the food addiction, so sometimes when you're out and when you have not cooked at home and all, so then
But that
you
is
kind
out of
of
necessity
you
you
have
eat,
Zomato
maybe.
or
Yeah.
Swiggy, but then you tend to kind of what you do is buy the things. You don't tend to eat everything. So what I have realized is what I do is I kind of don't keep it in my home page.
Okay.
I remove the notifications and sometimes I delete the app also
Okay.
completely. So sometimes
Okay.
deleting the app or shut off all the notifications, don't keep it in your home page, your social media things. These also help a lot.
I tried, uninstalling the app,
You
but it didn't work. I
why?
have reinstalled again. I mean, that was funny. But
Yeah, that is
suddenly I
something.
got an urge, okay, let's do this. But the app was not, I mean,
Yeah.
it
So
was not
then
in
I
the
think
phone.
the
I
behavior
reinstalled
therapist
and
can
did.
help you in how you
Maybe.
can let
Maybe.
go.
But I think it's a lot of availability around. Like you have money, you have lot of
Yeah.
things around you.
At
You
your
just do it.
disposal
Yeah,
and
you just want to do it. That's
yeah.
it. And okay, ma'am, can we just have quickly like some practical tips to break free from all these addictions or whatever digital addictions or any kind of addiction? I think we should focus more on digital addiction. That is the major problem now.
Huh. So practical tips would be trying to understand like it is a tool and it is not your companion.
Yeah.
So try to put some fixed timings of digital free in a day. Like
Okay.
in a day when you're doing some maybe when you're doing some physical activity, exercise or something, keep your phone away. And also while sleeping, I would advise people not to keep their phones beside, because many people have their charging points near their phones and they keep the phone beside them. The
Even if we
immediately when you wake up, you have to see your phone, check your phone. So keep the phone aside. So before sleeping, 1 to 2 hours before, and after wake up, at least after half an hour of waking up,
don't
no
go near the
digital
phone. Okay.
exposure, because the blue light also in the night time can cause
Affect the
sleep
sleep disturbances.
difficulties.
Okay.
So these things, and then when you're telling your child, it is also better for the parent to do it. So you
Okay.
tell your child, don't take phones, and you keep watching phones, doesn't make sense, no?
Only
Because
preaching thing.
children
Okay.
do observatory behavior only. So you
Okay.
also keep it aside. You're talking to your child, comes with some homework or talking to you, keep your phone aside. Completely focus 1 hour with the child only.
Okay.
So trying to also
So they will
understand
also
these.
learn that putting a phone aside is normal thing. It's not something
Yes, so
abnormal.
especially like dinners and all, family dinners, we can do in such a way that no digital thing, no screen time should be there. Like switching on the TV or phones shouldn't be there. So family dinners can be a very communicative thing where you share your day, what
Okay.
happened. Children can share to parents can share with each other.
Okay.
So and then when you are having some pujas or when you are having some spiritual experiences or physical activity like sports and all, then also keep all the phones away. So that way, some areas where you can, it is possible, I think better you keep it away.
Okay. What else we can do, ma'am? Like anything else?
So and another thing is we can also focus more on eating healthy food and proper timings.
Okay, that will also
So,
help.
so what happens is sometimes people
Your
are
hunger
too much
is
into this
driving you.
digital thing,
Okay.
and because already the brain is satiated by all of that, it is getting that reward. Sometimes it might not want to eat also,
Okay.
but that is causing lot of damage, directly damage to the brain.
Okay.
So I think we need to focus on proper breakfast, lunch, and proper fruits and water. Brain which is actually dehydrated cannot function well even with proper counseling and all. So it will again it will again go with the immediate gratification thing.
Okay.
So we need to keep ourselves hydrated well, eat properly, and socialize well, get to meet people, and all of that.
Is it possible to live a completely like dopamine free life where we are not getting controlled by dopamine but we are controlling our dopamine? Is it possible to do that, ma'am?
See, honestly, dopamine is something which actually drives, every person. So there is no free or something. And the current generation, the current kind of a thing that we are in, because technology and everything has become part of our life. So we'll have to see what is the way around where it not completely doesn't take up, but we cannot completely put it away also. But how best we are in control of all of that. So a day shouldn't come ki they should keep controlling us. So our body should control everything around us. That is what our whole goal should be.
Okay. Okay, that is the end of the show. We have learned a lot today. I think we should all, use or put to use all these things in our real life so that, we can live a healthy
Yeah.
life and healthy and happy life. Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thank you.
Thank you.